sides face Grand Square. Old days, good times I remember. Fun days, filled with simple pleasure. I'm a man and we.
All right, here we go. Another Square Dance Callers Talking. Today, I'm in close to Bavaria, Nuremberg. I have Jürgen. I'm not going to try and I'll tell you what. What's your name, sir? How are you?
Jürgen Weissenborn.
Weissenborn. Okay. And you told me earlier, but where exactly are you?
I'm in the Erlangen area, which is in the beautiful country of Bavaria.
Okay. All right. We met through Facebook and some emails back and forth. Never had the opportunity to meet you in person, so I'm really looking forward to this. The reason we're here, square dancing, square dance calling. So you're a square dance caller. When did you start dancing?
I started dancing in the middle of the 1970s.
Okay. And now, how'd that come about? Was that a family thing, or how'd you get involved?
Well, my parents did square dancing, and they took me to class one night. So I stood there, and I do square dancing ever since.
Very nice. So, about how long did it take before you decided you wanted to be on the other side of the microphone and calling?
Well, our caller back then, his name was Jim Rover. He recently passed away about a couple of years ago, and he said I'm an amateur tonight. So he gave everybody he thought 2 records and said learn them and make him. You gotta call them on the next week or next 2 weeks, whatever. Whenever it's time to fit in, and I didn't pick any. And he came up to me and said, Jürgen, you didn't get any records. Here are 3. You're going to do them next week. Go home and learn it. And since then, I'm working behind a microphone. And that started back in 1977. I took my first caller school in 1979. And this is the way where I started counting my career as a caller. So it's 45 years now.
Wow, 45 years. Outstanding. Do you remember what those singing calls were?
One of them was Exploited Everything, and the other one was a Jethro record. Gary Shoemake on the mic.
Okay.
Somebody Loves You.
Nice. Okay. So you started doing your singing calls. How long did that go before you started trying to get into pattern and things like that, choreography?
About 4 to 6 weeks.
Oh, wow. Okay. Outstanding.
Well, Jim was one of the type of coaches that forced somebody to do something new. So
okay.
Said, well, you did singing calls for a while. Right now, let's start out with a pattern. And move the head couples to their corner. It was the first thing that he said to me, and I was puzzled and said, well, how's about a head square through 4?
Nice. Okay.
Goal achieved.
Very nice. Okay.
And it involves from time to time. Well, you see, I've been a kid back then. I've been 57 right now, calling 45 years. A little bit more than that, and I've been a kid when I started, and learning was easy for me back then.
It seems like the younger you are, the easier it can be. Okay.
Exactly, that's the point. So I preferred having young people in my square dance classes because they pick up movements and definitions very, very fast, faster than older people.
Right. And that is completely true. Yes, sir. Now, how high do you dance and how high a level do you call?
I'm up to A2.
A2? Okay.
I have done some challenge stuff about 20 years ago, but I stopped them because it's you know, here in Germany, when you call challenge, you really have to travel.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay.
So I have a local club. My own club is dancing plus A1 and A2, okay. And this is a weekly thing, and it's fine.
Now, where you're located, how much traveling do you have to do? How much do you have to go out to call?
Well, it depends on which week it is in the month, and I'm normally calling each Tuesday, each Wednesday, and every second Sunday.
Wow. Okay. That's a lot.
I have another club which is dancing a 182 stuff. I have to drive about 1.5 hours one way, and they're dancing. We are 4 callers sharing the club.
Wow.
So our president puts us every, let me say, 8 or 10 weeks. You got to go down there and call for 6 or 7 hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many dancers do y'all usually get in those sessions?
How many dances? You mean how many tips?
How many actual dancers? Like how many squares do you have typically?
Well, it depends on the level, and then it depends on the area where you're calling.
Mhm.
My home club, if I'm doing plus, I got about 3-4 squares.
Okay,
If I'm
very nice.
A2, we are around 2 squares.
Okay. Okay.
In other areas, where we have mainstream clubs running about 6-7 squares a night.
Very good. Okay. Now, with where you are, have you done any traveling outside of the area you live in? Any venues or anything, stuff like that stand out to you?
Well, I've been to almost every country in Europe.
Okay.
For calling. I've been to the United States for calling. I was invited for the Texas Squares convention last year in Bryan,
Okay.
and I worked with Charlie Robertson over there. Yeah, I've been most everywhere.
Outstanding. Now, do any of those places, and I ask a lot of people, especially around the United States when you travel, because we call in so many different places, whether it be senior centers, gyms, schools, actual dance halls, any of the venues stand out to you from all your travels?
Not really. The most of the times that when we are having club nights, class nights, workshops, or something like that, this is club organized, and they take whatever hall they can get, and
Right.
that's never a special venue.
Okay, very nice.
You go in there and call. Sometimes sound is a little bit tricky in such halls, but
Sure.
you know, we have new systems over here, so
Now, with the level you calling up to A2, do you have a favorite level that you like to call?
plus.
Plus? Okay. And I ask everybody, what do you have a favorite call in plus?
Some of them, Crossfire, for example.
Very nice.
Diamonds.
Crossfire workshop last night. Very nice. Crossfire. Okay.
Diamonds.
Diamonds. Yeah. Very nice.
Boat to boat. And I'm really looking forward in trying to find special setups for starting up a call.
I called a dance last night, as a matter of fact, and they asked to do a workshop for about 30 minutes before the dance started. Had 3 squares for the workshop. I was really happy with that. And same thing, I said around in my area, there's certain calls that just kind of go away for whatever reason. They don't get called anymore. And Crossfire seems to be one of them. When I go dance, I rarely hear callers call Crossfire for whatever reason. I don't know why. So I've made a point to call it, and I do workshops on it and stuff like that. So Crossfire, outstanding. Of course, everybody's got the diamonds, so love doing diamonds. So I like AC Doocy from Diamonds because it'll confuse some people that don't consider thing, but I love doing that.
Especially A dances with their 6x2 AC Doocy.
Yeah. Very nice.
How's about linear cycle?
What's that?
How's about linear cycles?
Linear cycle. I do love that one. I love linear cycle.
Have you ever thought about doing it in parts, like the first 2 parts of linear cycle?
No, I've never done that. You throw that out there sometimes? Very nice. First 2 parts. I try and take notes whenever I'm talking to people, stuff like that. First part. Outstanding. No, I don't get much into it. I haven't. I would like to get more into the fractions and parts of, where you leave out a part or what stuff like that. Love to get deeper into that. At some point I will. You said that earlier you went to your first caller school. Do you have any mentors other than the ones you mentioned, or caller schools that kind of stand out, that kind of maybe formed your calling?
Well, at the time that I started my first college school over here in Germany, it's been the Easter week, and there is always a dance week in the Chiemsee. In the older days, it was the Chiemsee College. Right now, it's CALM, and CALM is running by Dave Prescott.
Okay.
Dave Prescott is a very, very good friend. He's one of my mentors also.
Okay.
And at the time that the CALM week was the Chiemsee week, there have been callers from the States over there, and they did a caller school, kind of caller school. I think 3 or 4 times during this week, and showed them the basics. Showed us the basics how to call, how to resolve the square,
Right.
just two-phase line get out, something like that.
Yeah.
Easy stuff.
Okay.
Like I said, I was a kid back then, and we had a kid square over there. A lot of the old square dancers brought their kids with them, and they had 2 classes running back then. One was a college class, college school, and the other one was a class for those non-dancing kids from the square dances.
Okay.
And it was really funny.
How's that? Just the dancers?
Yeah, the classes was really funny because dancers, the parents of those kids don't have to get worried about their kids, that they are doing something which they should not used to, because they've been all out there, and there was somebody who looked after them, and so it was fine.
Very good. It's nice to have younger dancers. They go faster. You can do a lot more, and like you said, they retain everything. It seems like that we don't really get a whole lot of those unless we're at a state convention or a national convention. You'll have a couple of youth halls here and there for younger, faster dancers, and so that's always fun to have. So, yeah, at some point I hope to get into the advanced. I haven't yet. I've taken the lessons, but I certainly don't try and call it by any means. What you've been doing it for so long, do you have any favorite singing calls? Just if you had to break out a singing call, what would it be?
Leroy Brown.
Leroy Brown, okay.
Mary. If you can read my mind, like the recent song that Johnny Preston released, and well, there are a lot of others. Puff the Magic Dragon.
Okay.
I'm really old-fashioned. I like the old singing calls. I don't like this new rap that's coming out there.
Okay.
I like it. I'm a country guy, you know.
I guess. Well, I was going to ask you that, and I ask everybody, when you're not listening or doing any kind of square dance stuff, what kind of music are you listening to?
Country.
Country? Okay.
Country. Like Toby Keith or Reba McEntire or Gus Brooks or.
Nice. Okay.
And of course the old timers, the Highwaymen.
Sure, Highwaymen, very nice.
Cash.
Yeah, there's a lot of Johnny Cash square dance songs out there.
Yeah.
So that's really nice to have. I started this whole thing because years ago I was at a dance, and you hear so much of the old music, whether fiddles and banjos, which is great. I like that kind of music, don't get me wrong. But one night the caller was doing a song, and he did George Strait's Unwound. And that was the first song that I ever recognized. And I thought, hey, wait, that's a real song. And, I was like, I want to hear more of that. And so that's what kind of led me into, hey, if you want to hear more of it, just go be a caller. So that's when I decided to learn how to call, so I could go out and get my own music. So immediately the first thing I did was Unwound, and then Jambalaya. I always do Jambalaya. And so love George Strait, love all the country stuff. That's awesome. I didn't know you had country over there. That's good. Very nice. Well, now, and if as much as you do call, I like to talk a little bit about the caller. What do you like to do outside of square dancing? You a movie guy, recreation? What do you do?
Well, I'm driving a bicycle.
Okay, riding a bicycle, very nice. How
Right.
how far do you ride normally?
Well, about 20 Ks a day.
Whew, okay, very nice, very nice. Now,
But I have one, but I have an e-bike.
okay. Let me ask you this now.
Yeah.
Where I live, they're very friendly toward bike riding and stuff. We have a lot of trails, paved trails,
Yeah.
stuff like that. Is that kind of the same way where you are?
Yeah.
Very nice. That is
Sure.
super convenient. Yeah,
Well, we are meeting with friends, making country music, playing the guitar,
okay.
things like that. Just hanging around, having a good time.
So you play instruments also, music?
Yeah.
Okay, just guitar or what else?
Guitar is enough for me.
Okay.
I don't have too much time left to real getting into the stuff and practice for being anything other than a guitar strummer.
Mhm.
I don't have the time to play a banjo or a fiddle. This
Okay.
is too much work involved.
I got you. Okay. Now, when did you start playing guitar? How long ago? Kid?
25 years ago.
Wow. Okay. Have you recorded any square dance songs?
No,
No. Okay.
I've been asked a couple of times by Paul Bristow running the Sting label.
Yep. I know. Paul.
But we never came to a, well, don't get me wrong, Paul and I we're close friends, but we never came to a conclusion for a song. And as I said, I don't want to have any copies. If you want to have my voice on the record, you got to pay for it.
Gotcha. I got you. Very nice.
Søren Lindegaard and I we've been talking about getting involved in recording a song, but we decided to put it on ice and do it away and talk about it in a later date. So, well, you know, Sir and I, we are close friends also, and his record label is those guys they put out such a fantastic music.
They do. They really. I love some of his songs. I've got several of them myself. I think "One Call Away" was one of his, a Charlie Puth song. I grabbed that up. I know it's an older song that he's had, but I grabbed it about 6 months ago, I guess, and I absolutely love that thing. And just great music.
And I do think that not every caller needs to put out records. I mean, there's one caller in Germany that I would like to mention. He's got a very, very great singing voice, especially for country music. His name is Philip Kamm.
I'll tell you a quick story about that. So have you known Philip a long time?
Well, Philip and I we have birthday on the same day.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
But he is a year younger than I am.
Okay.
And I know him and I know his father and I know his mother before she died. For about, let me say, 30 years or more.
Okay.
Philip is a nice guy, really.
Yeah, he's a super nice guy. Like I say, first came into contact with Philip with Circles that he did for TBT for Ted Lazat, and love the song. I'm a big Post Malone fan, and I really like that song when he put it out. So I grabbed it, and somewhere along the line we met up. We did a podcast a while back now. We ran into each other on the cruise last February, the Square Dance cruise that he was on, and we got to hang out for a little while. And I don't know if you remember or not, but there was a point in his podcast when I was talking to him that I said, you know, the story you're telling me could be a country song. Well, he messed around and he wrote some lyrics, and he's got a great song out there. He sent me a demo of it. It's fantastic. And 2 days ago, I sent him some lyrics that I had written out, and he sent me a demo today of one that I wrote. And that dude is just super talented. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I hope maybe I can record it. It's a song about the little town I grew up in. So Philip is an awesome guy. I didn't know y'all were so close. That's great. So now, do y'all ever sit around and play guitar together, or what do y'all do?
No, he didn't have the opportunity, but he's a he's also a great caller. I mean,
Mhm.
I've known him for a long time, and Philip, Philip, he stood on his ground. I mean, he's not going above his ability,
Mhm.
right? He always has a clear mind in doing basics, doing mainstream, and doing plus moves, uh, and didn't go any further. And right now, he just told me that he picked up advanced one right now as a dancer. He took up classes, and I said, wait a minute, I know him for about 30 years or longer. And right now he is up to advanced when other people are long in C2, C3, C4. Um, that means that he always didn't lose contact to the floor. You know, this is
Right.
very important. And such a distinct singing voice in country music. It's great.
He really does. He does. That's a big part of just the calling. And I see that because I see callers of every level and ability, from beginners to guys that have been doing it 45, 50 years. It's it's important to know what you're doing, but to be in control of the floor the
Yeah,
whole time, know where everybody is, that is a confidence that dancers, whether they know it or not, they feel it.
yeah,
And because a confident, good caller can go out and throw out some calls that a beginner caller, if I went out and said the exact same word for word calls, the whole floor would be broken down because you did the timing, everything else, the body flow, it just wasn't right.
right.
So yeah, so with Philip, and I'm sure you have it too, the ability to just to control a floor, know where dancers are, know where they're gonna be. That's the biggest thing I picked up on when I started doing this is it's not so much what's your next call, is do you know where those dancers are going to be when it's done? And you got to know that before you call it. If
Right.
not, you're starting and stopping, and you're hesitating and this. So there's a lot to that. Just controlling the floor. That's a great statement right there. As long as you've been doing it, have you ever got into any teaching or coaching other callers or working with other guys?
Well, sort of, yeah. Um, there's been a point in my life where I taught callers how to call, and I've been working on a caller school as a staff caller
Hmm.
uh, for an old time Swedish caller here in Germany. His name was Kim Hill, and he was running a school, and him and I we taught those schools together.
Hmm.
Um, then this friendship split up because of personal differences. Anyway, so I stopped coaching and picked it up again about 10 years ago.
Okay.
And the toughest time that I had as a coach was uh, I was coaching three young girls. Okay, one of them can sing, one of them can see, and the third can't listen because she's tone deaf.
Okay.
And this was really hard.
Sure.
But they are doing a great job. All three
Outstanding.
of them are doing a great job. The one that can see, doing everything from the top of her head, uh, calling up to A2.
Very nice.
And well, we're working continuously on getting better skills for it. But it's hard to as a coach, it's very hard to find a way out of for them to help them when you are not tone deaf and when you are not blind and when you cannot sing. I mean, I can do all those things, but I cannot go into their feelings and imagine how hard it is for them to learn something.
Sure. Absolutely. I saw there was a gentleman. I'm not sure what his name was. I saw him a couple of years ago. It's been probably 4 or 5 years at a CALLERLAB convention, and he was blind, 100% blind, and he just kept track of everything in his head. Is what they were telling me. Because I never actually got to meet him. Don't know what his name was, but he would do that. He would keep track of everything in his head. Now, the tough part for me is like somebody who reads or tries to read all the time. If you're not looking at the floor, how do you know if they're broke down or not? So I can't imagine the hurdle it must be if you can't see or maybe a sight impairment. So that's tough, but it's like if you stick it out, you keep going. That's impressive. Do you have, and I ask people who kind of in the mentor thing, do you have any advice for callers, whether it be a brand new caller or somebody that's got a few years in?
Well, when it comes to the point of guest tips, when you are going to visit a club and you've been invited to call a guest tip, do not call for the callers on the floor. Call for the dancers. Always let them have fun. Keep your choreo simple, understandable for them. Watch your hand availability and your body flow. Make it easy for them to participate the calls that you give them.
Good stuff. Very good. How often do you get over to the United States?
Depends on the year. We've been over there. My girlfriend and I have been over there in 2023. We're coming back in 25 for the CALLERLAB convention.
Oh, outstanding. Okay.
We're planning on a trip in 26, and then let's see.
Well, I'll get to meet you at CallerLab then, because I'm definitely going to be at that. That's only 3 hours from my house, so I'm definitely going to make CallerLab this year or next year. I'm sorry. And it's their 50th, so it's going to be big.
Yeah,
be
the
special.
50th, you have to be there, and you have to vote for the proposal.
What's that?
You have to vote for the proposal.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. You're not kidding about that. Looking forward to that. They're putting that proposal out there. I got to hear it when Ted first brought it up, so really excited about that.
Yep,
it's gonna be good. Now, explain to me over there. Here, every state has its kind of its own state convention each year. Some of them are small, some of them are larger, and of course, we have a national convention. How do y'all do over there?
Well, we have jamborees.
Jamboree, okay.
We have a jamboree and a roundup. Actually, in the older days, we had a spring jamboree, a summer jamboree, a fall roundup, and a winter jamboree. And the last winter jamboree took place in 1998. And then they reduced the amount of jamborees and roundups from 4 to 2, because they thought when they are decreasing the numbers of jamborees, they are increasing the numbers of attendances.
Okay.
Which was wrong. But okay, so we have a spring jamboree and we have a fall roundup, and those are events that are hosted by 2 umbrella organizations like EAACC, which is the European Association of American Square Dancing Clubs. Okay. And ECTA, which is the European College and Teachers Association, and a hosting club, which is a local club they're taking care of the halls and all this. Okay. Callers on those events have to be active member in ECTA. Okay. And they are working for free.
Gotcha.
Right. Because of the ECTA constitution, ECTA said, well, if you're participating on an ECTA event, ECTA callers need to do it for free. And we had a spring jamboree this year in Rockenhausen, hosted by a club over there, and their club caller is a good friend of mine. He's also a fantastic caller. His name is Philip Aff, and he writes with AFF.
AFF. Yep, I've been going back and forth to him on email lately. Yes.
Right. And he's a fantastic caller also. He's also the square dance coordinator for ECTA. Okay. I'll have to ask him about that. At some point, I'll have him on here. He really did a fantastic job in organizing this jamboree and this active working stuff with this club. They are working their butts off for us, and it was a really great event. More about you. So you're into country music. I didn't know that.
what type of movies do you like? What kind of movie? What stuff do you watch?
Huh. Have you ever seen it heard the miniseries Hetfield and McCoys?
What is it?
Hetfield and McCoys from Kevin Costner?
I Hatfield and McCoy. I don't think I'm a big Kevin Costner fan. I don't think I've seen that one though.
This is I think a three-parted series, Hetfield and McCoys, and the Devil Ends Hetfield is played by Kevin Costner.
Okay.
Then I like things like Yellowstone
Yellowstone's fantastic. Yep.
and all those things around 1923 and the 1883.
Yes, sir. I got into those. We've watched we're up to date, my wife and I, on the 1923 and all that. It's fantastic. Or I forget what the other one was, but love those.
Yeah, this
So
is.
you're a Kevin Costner fan. That's good.
Not only, but this is it's a. I think he is a great actor.
Absolutely. Yep.
Dances with Wolves was one of his biggest movie, and I like him since then. Also, Open Range was a good one.
Open Range was very good. Now that's a lot of his Western stuff. Did you like the baseball stuff? He's a big baseball guy with Field of Dreams and all that.
I'm not really into sports.
Okay.
Here comes my connection to England. I'm with Churchill. No sports.
Okay. I got you. That's awesome, man. Well, explain to me what do you have coming up with the way y'all do your jamborees and your roundups and all that? What do you have coming up big in the next couple of months for the rest of the year, August on?
You mean date wise?
Yeah, I mean some of the special dances you might have coming up.
Oh well, I don't have my calendar here. I don't know out of the top of my head. But I know that I have two dances coming up, which are very important. One is in a different part of Germany, which is about 300 km away from me. This is a event that I have a club. Let me explain this a bit around. I have a club that's especially formed for weekend dances. Okay, I have a few weekend dances running with this club. We're starting up in April with A2. In May we have a plus weekend, and in November we have an advanced one weekend. Okay.
Nice. Okay.
And this club is doing one special dance open for everybody once a year, and only one club night a year. And this is all plus level. And this is one of the very important dances in this area. And I'm really looking forward to them because a close friend of mine is calling with me, sharing the program with me this year. His name is Martin Kull.
What's the last name?
Kull. Kull.
Okay.
And Martin is also a great guy, great caller. He's got a great singing voice, and he's got a body flow. This is just lovable. This is calling with him, dancing to his calls is fantastic.
That's awesome.
Like you're flying over the floor. This is really
Very nice.
be great. This is one of those things. Then we have a dance here in my area that I've called the last 2 years, which is called I have to translate this right now. The Autumn Dance.
Awesome dance.
For our local Australian association that we have over here.
Mm-hmm.
And this year, 2 other callers from our clubs are doing that. I'm looking forward for the Easter dance that I have regularly each year with my club in Würzburg area. Well, things are going on.
Very nice. Well, it's awesome that you stay busy. Around here it goes back and forth. I've got a huge August coming up, and with a lot of stuff. Alabama, is one of the states closest to me. I'm going to their convention in August. Looking forward to that. Got a caller school that I'm going to in 2 weeks. So
We're going, my girlfriend and I, we're going to the European Convention in ECAS this year
when is that?
in Denmark.
Oh, them. Okay. European convention. Now, and I might be wrong, and I don't know logistically where everything is. Isn't there a mini Caller Lab in Germany or something going on shortly?
In Germany, yes, in Seoul, in
Okay.
October, I think.
Oh, yep.
I've-
That is
I've
it.
been there also. Are you coming over?
No, not on this one. I thought about it, but we planned so much other stuff before I saw that it was going to be there because I'd love to at some point get over to Germany and just see the area. So maybe next time. I don't know. But I will run into you at Caller Lab for sure. Looking forward to that. And of course,
Whenever you're in Germany, just drop me a line. I'm sure we can arrange something, making a weekend together.
oh, that'd be awesome. Love to do that. I'll absolutely do that. At some point, I'll get over there. I'm gonna probably finish my day job in about 3 more months, hopefully, and then I can do some more traveling. Who knows? Let my
So
son
you go.
let my son do all the working for the remainder.
You're retiring.
Yep, that's the plan. Probably December or so. I'm not sure yet, but yeah.
Oh, it's a
So-
Christmas
what's that?
as a Christmas present.
Yeah, that's going to be a Christmas present. So at some point I'll hang it up and hopefully just get to travel around some more for sure. So we'll see about that. Well, Jürgen, is there anything else we want to talk about? I can't think anything I left out about you because this is all about you.
Yeah. How's about you? What are you doing over there?
Like I was saying, I just I've got one club I call every other Thursday, twice a month for them. I book probably 2 or 3 other dances throughout the month, depending on what month it is. Like I said, I did one last night for another club, and so I call probably once a week, sometimes twice, depending on what's going on. And I'm just trying to get better at it, man, banging along, And
Well,
like I was telling you, these podcasts started getting to know people. The first few that I did, I knew them personally. Sean Butler, my first one, and some of these other guys, I see on a semi-regular basis. And but now I'm getting into it where I've never met anybody before, so I'm starting to learn about it. But I thought this is a caller school for me. I get your perspective on it, and that's why I write tons of notes that everybody tells me,
come on.
and I start putting it together, favorite calls and positions, stuff like that. So I
Okay,
use this as much as a caller school.
You want to know more about me? I have a square dance business running. I'm producing microphone cables, remote cables.
Okay. So you're producing microphone cables, okay?
Here in Germany for most of those European callers over here. Also, I've sent also microphone cables to the US. Michael Keller, for example, has a couple. Dave Weira has a couple, and Michelle Weira has one, and some other callers in the States, but using my microphone cables.
Okay.
I have a specially new invented grip. The handle is made in the 3D print, and it's a special design for that. So it's when you put your microphone on the handle, you always have the connection here on your hand, and the pivot point is right here. My handle is a bit different made, so you put the microphone joint in your hand,
Okay.
so it does not wiggle.
Very nice.
On the connector. And well, I'm going to ECAST and selling my stuff because the British Callers Club has ordered a couple of those leads, and also remote control devices and all the stuff that I'm doing.
Okay.
But this is basically doing, because you got to mention that we are not we are not able to get any help in Europe because of this improvement. that the Hilton is missing, and so they won't sell anything to the European countries except microphone leads. And since the last thing that I ordered as from Paul Cody was before he died. He wrote me and said that he cannot ship directly to Europe.
Wow. Okay.
I have to buy a cable and let them ship to a friend of mine in the States. And when he come over, he brought the cable with me.
Okay. Now, are you planning on bringing any of those cables to CALLERLAB?
I'm thinking about.
Well, like I said, we can talk when we get off. I would like to go ahead and get an order for one of those. I can always use another cable. That'd be great. If you're planning on bringing them.
Yeah, no problem. I have two different sets. I mean, it depends on the system you're using.
Okay. All right. We'll definitely talk more about that.
Systems? Are you using Hudson systems or powered speakers?
I've got a powered speaker.
So you need a balanced cable.
With I got a powered speaker. I've got a equalizer that goes with it. Just because I don't have the Hilton stuff. I just haven't bought it. I should have, but I didn't. So I'm a little bit different from most of the callers over here. So
I write you an email.
Okay, do that, and I'll send you a picture of what I use my system now, so you can see what works best. I think that's outstanding. Nice, Jürgen. Well, brother, I appreciate it. Like I say, we're sitting on 45 minutes. So I won't keep you too long. I appreciate you doing this. So glad I got to meet you through Facebook, and it led to this. And at some point, either you'll be at CALLERLAB long before I get over to Europe, Germany, where you are. But at some point, I'd like to get over there too. That'd be great. And we'll definitely go back and forth with the email because I want to see what kind of cable system you got. I'd love to have something different.
I really appreciate that being part of it, Charlie. Thank you very much for the invitation.
All right.
And looking forward to meet you at CALLERLAB.
Yes, sir. I'll be there. I'll see you at CALLERLAB, and then hopefully at some point we'll come over and I will hang out in your country for a little while.
Yeah, sure, no problem. Just drop me a line. We can arrange something.
Absolutely, will do, brother. Hey, I thank you again, and this will come out in a couple of weeks, and I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah. Okay.
All right,
Thank you very
have
much.
a good night. Yeah, buddy.